in a comment. Hello everyone, I'm just very quickly popping a little pin in the comments. Do say hello if you're here already. Just pop a little hello in the comments. Let me just pin this very quickly. Do let me know if you can see me and that you can hear me. There we go, pinned. Okay, awesome. Hello everyone, please pop me a hello in the comments if you can see me and if you can hear me. Hey Victoria, Amanda, great to see you. Just let me know that you can definitely see me and that you can definitely hear me, so I'm not just talking to my camera, because for a live cookery class I need to know that you can hear me. Hey Keith, great to see you. Great, thanks Vic, appreciate that. Lovely, okay, fab. And where are you tuning in from today? I'm here at home in sunny Brum. I'm actually pretty amazed that I've managed to do 3 classes now, and every single time the sun has been amazing. So where are we tuning in from, and how's the weather where you are? Keith's from Scotland. How's the weather in Scotland, Keith? Hi Matt, welcome back. Great to see some people that were here last week. Cheers Alan, thanks for that. Cheers. Alex, how are you doing? How's your dad? Brilliant. Okay, so you can all hear me and you can all see me clearly. Fantastic. Amazing. So I'm just going to give it half a minute or so, and then we're going to get started. Christine's from Droitwich. Hello. We had last week we had people from America tuning in. We had a couple in Lapland tune in, which was incredible. Steve, you're in Leamington Spa, beautiful weather, amazing. Hi Anna in sunny Brighton, great, I'm so happy to hear that even Manchester is sunny. Brilliant, lovely. Okay, cool, well we're going to get started. Hey Matty, good to see you. Cheryl, Oldham's also sunny. Cool, alright, well let's get started. For those of you who do not know who I am and you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Monica and I run the Spice Club Cookery School. I have 2 schools, one in Manchester and one in Birmingham. And the ethos for me, as I've always grown up in an Indian kitchen, I've been exposed to eating Indian food every single day, and I've often heard that for a lot of people who love Indian food, when they go into their own kitchen and cook it, they find it really daunting. You know, it's really easy to open an Indian recipe book, see this long list of spices and think, oh, this is going to take a long time. So I'm here today, and in my classes, to really break everything down for you, and make Indian cooking really easy and really accessible for you. And that's what I'm going to do today as well. So today we are cooking up one of my favourite dishes, which is Murgh Masala. This is a classic Punjabi chicken curry, and I'm Punjabi, so I feel like I know what I'm talking about here. It's a really amazing recipe to just nail, because once you've got the masala done, and when I say masala, what I mean is just like the sauce, if you will, that the chicken is cooked in. Once you've nailed that masala, you can actually cook 10, 20 different types of dishes just by mixing things in, adding different main ingredients. So we're going to nail that masala today, and you can also make that in bulk and keep it in your fridge, freezer. So yeah, it's a great one to nail. Throughout the class, if you have any questions at all, please ping in a comment. I am always going to try and cook and follow your comments and answer questions as I go along. If you feel like I'm going too quickly at any point, please just say Monica, chill out, calm down, slow down, and I will slow down. Okay, so just keep me posted in the comments whilst we go. So some of you are doing this with paneer, which I mentioned in the ingredients list. You can absolutely do this with paneer. The first thing that we're going to do though is going to be marinating our chicken. So if you are doing paneer, you can just completely omit this step, and we'll come back to the paneer later on in the class. Amazing. If you are cooking with me today, please pop in the comments, yes, I'm cooking with you today. And if you're just watching, that's absolutely fine as well. Janet's just asked, are you okay to do veg rather than the chicken? Yeah, absolutely you can do, that's not a problem at all. So for those of you who are cooking with chicken, I hope you've got the ingredients ready that I popped on the Facebook page earlier this week. I asked for you to prep boneless chicken thighs. So I've already prepped mine here in the bowl, and I've just cut them into bite-sized pieces, basically. So we're going to start with the marinade. The marinade is incredibly easy, and before I tell you what we're going to put in the marinade, I'm just going to ask that everyone has got their grill preheating on the maximum temperature. So I popped in the comments, I popped in the ingredients list rather, that if you could get your oven at the grill setting, and if you can pop it up to the maximum temperature, just whilst we're doing the marination, okay? If everyone's happy, if you give me a quick thumbs up that, yeah, everyone's got their oven preheating on the grill setting. Okay, brilliant, lovely. So, chicken, to this I'm going to add in yogurt. So I'm going to add in roughly, I've got about 2 good tablespoons of yogurt here, and you can use Greek yogurt or you can use plain yogurt, whatever you've got in. So just pop in about 2 good tablespoons of yogurt straight in to the chicken. So let me just move this out of the way so you can see the bowl properly. Okay, there we go. There we go, lovely. All right, and let me move this down a little bit as well. Keith's got his grill fired up, lovely. Okay, so I want to put the yogurt in straight away. And what yogurt does is it tenderises your chicken, which is really important, especially when you're using boneless meat. You want to make sure that we're keeping it nice and moist because we don't have that bone to keep in the moisture. So we've got yogurt in there. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in 2 things for seasoning. So a very simple marinade. First thing is some salt, okay? And we're going to do, so I've asked you for you to put about 1/2 kilogram of the chicken in here. You're going to put in a level teaspoon of salt, which is really important so that when you bite into the chicken, it's not just the sauce that's flavourful, it's the chicken that's really tasty and seasoned too, okay? So salt's going in there. And the last thing is this. So this is garam masala. This is my homemade Spice Club garam masala, which is a very secret recipe. Garam masala is like a classic Central and North Indian spice blend. Every family has their own way of making this, but yeah, obviously I'm partial to the Spice Club one. So we're going to put in a level teaspoon of garam masala. That's going to go straight in your bowl as well as a little bit of oil. Okay, so I've just got sunflower oil. You can use olive oil, you can use vegetable oil, whatever you've got in, don't worry about that. And we're going to pop in roughly a couple of tablespoons. In fact, I'm not even going to measure it with spoons. I'm just going to do a couple of glugs, which is my favourite technical term. So that's basically going to allow the chicken to, again, retain moisture and cook in the grill without drying out. So now we have got our chicken thighs in there, we've got yogurt in there, salt, we've got garam masala and some oil. And what I want you to do now is just give it a really good mix. So I'm just using a spoon so I don't have to wash my hands, but you can use your hand. Ordinarily I would do if I was just in the kitchen. But I'm trying to be practical here, okay? So I say that, I've set up my kitchen in my living room, spices plus living room. It's not a practical move, to be honest, but the lighting in my kitchen's pretty poor. So how are we looking? Does your chicken look like this? Let me see how we're doing with that. How are we doing, guys? Give me a thumbs up if we are looking like our chicken is really nicely marinated. Once it is, okay, we're going to pop it on our foil-lined grill tray, which I asked if you wouldn't mind prepping beforehand. And if you haven't prepped it, it's fine. Just go and grab your tray from your oven and line it with a little bit of foil. Thank you for your thumbs up, so I know that you guys, your chicken's looking good. Lovely. So you're just going to transfer your chicken to your foil-lined tray. In it goes. And what I want you to do now, we don't want to leave this in one big clump. We want to really spread it out. So give each little piece a little bit of room. So that's why I like to use sort of the normal size tray. Even if I'm using a small amount of chicken, I just like to have enough space to move each piece. Hi AJ, my brother is tuned in. I taught him how to make this dish actually. Now he's making it and posting it on Instagram. he is the boss man with this recipe. Not getting any credit. Yeah, so here we go. Chicken's all done. And then what I want you to do, if your grill is preheated and is nice and hot, you're going to pop this into the grill. And what I want you to do is pop it at the setting where it's as close to the filament as possible. So it's going to go at the highest setting, okay? So I'm going to pass this to my glamorous assistant because I don't have a grill in my living room. Thank you, glamorous assistant. And I'm going to pop that's going to go in the grill for 10 minutes, okay? Yes, Diana, the chicken is social distancing on the grill tray, exactly. Hi, Graham from Lapland, nice to see you. So I've I've asked Debs, my other half, to pop in the chicken to the grill. Now my maximum grill setting probably is going to be around 220 degrees if I was to measure the temperature, okay? Some grills, they kind of can go up to 240, 250 in terms of their maximum setting. So if yours is a little bit hotter, then you might want to pop that in for about 8 minutes. What you're looking for with the chicken is for the chicken to be completely cooked all the way through, so white, and then have a slight char on the top, okay? That's what we're looking for. So I know that in my, hi Mom. I know that on my grill it's going to take about 10 minutes. So I'm going to show you the chicken in 10 minutes, but just be mindful if your grill is a little bit hotter, you might want to just check after 8 minutes and just take it out, okay? Does that make sense to everyone? Claire's asked, should you ideally leave the chicken to marinate for more time? With this dish, to be honest with you, you don't have to. You can absolutely get away with not having to. For something like a tandoori chicken, where it's just marination and grilling it and no sauce, I would leave that overnight, if not 24 hours. Obviously, the longer you leave your marinade, the better. But you can actually get away with it because the masala is what the magic is in terms of the flavour here. The grilling, the reason why I'm grilling the chicken today and marinating it is because boneless chicken tends to dry out when it goes into a tomato-based masala. If anyone's ever had a chicken curry where the chicken's just dried out, especially if you use breast, it's quite a hard, tough chicken. We want to just make sure our chicken's nice and tender, so that's why we're marinating it. Someone has asked about, do we need to turn the chicken halfway through? No, not at all. Diana, if you're using paneer, you don't need to put the grill on. We're just going to put the paneer straight into the masala. Denise, no need to turn the chicken. Okay, we can just cook it and just let it do its thing. Once it's cooked and has a little bit of a char on there, you're fine. We'll take that out. No need to turn. Okay, so we're now going to move on to the masala. Okay, so let me pop this on the side. I'm going to get my pan nice and hot. My dad's tuned in. Hi, Dad. Hi Jeff, good to see you. It's great to see people that have come in for the last couple of classes also joining. If it's your first time joining, let me know, say hello, let me know if you're a first timer. So let's talk about the masala, guys. This is what we want to nail because you can make so many different dishes from this masala. So first thing that I want you to do, I probably didn't mention in the ingredients that you need a pan. You need a pan. So if you can get a pan, I've got a sort of a good non-stick pan here of a decent size. So I'm going to get some oil nice and hot in here. Now I'm using vegetable oil, but you can use so I'm using sunflower oil, but you can use vegetable oil. And we roughly need about 6 or 7 tablespoons of oil in here. Hello, Anne is a first timer. Adam, hello, welcome. Phil, welcome. Zoe. Great, awesome. Nice to welcome some first timers here. Tracy, hey, how's it going? So, roughly around 6 or 7 tablespoons of oil, because what we're going to do, we're going to have enough oil to caramelise our onions. That is the secret. Don't tell anyone. That is the secret to a delicious chicken curry. It's caramelising the sugars that are present in onions. A lot of people, when it comes to their onions and their chicken curries, you know, they just saute it and they think, yeah, it's done, it's soft. We need to really take that flavour to the next level by caramelising the onions. Okay, so I'm going to show you what colour you need to get your onions to. Leslie said, can you use ghee? Yeah, absolutely, you can use ghee. Hi Gary, yes, we had a one-to-one cookery class a while back. How you doing? So I'm going to get my oil nice and hot. If you want to make this even richer, you can mix a little bit of butter with the oil. You can add a bit of ghee. Hey Rachel, good to have you back as always. So that's getting nice and hot. I've got that on a low heat. Okay. So first thing that we're going to do, and this is completely optional. I said on the ingredients list that if you have these whole spices in, just add in what you have. If you don't have all of them, do not freak out, don't worry. This is a completely optional stage. So a way of making your masala really beautiful and flavourful is to infuse the oil with whole spices. So I've got here 3 bay leaves, I've got in some green cardamom pods, 3 cloves, and a black cardamom. You can use 2 or 3 green cardamoms and a black cardamom. So if you don't have, you know, say for example, you don't have the black cardamom but you have everything else, just pop that in. And if you've got a pestle and mortar, I want you to pop in the cardamom pods, both types, and also your cloves. Whoops, I've got a cardamom that's gone missing. Keep your bay leaves on the side for now. If you've got a pestle and mortar and you're feeling a bit frustrated, let it out on those cardamom pods, okay? This is what I like. If I'm feeling a bit frustrated, I just go to the pestle and mortar, get some cardamom pods in there and just give it a bash, okay? This is going to release the pods inside the shell, and we're just going to break it down. So if you don't have this in, just completely omit this stage, okay? So if you don't have a pestle and mortar, what you can do is if you've got a chopping board and a rolling pin, you can just give it a bash on there instead. So we have got what it looks like, nicely coarsely crushed. How are we all there, guys? So nice coarsely crushed. I've got my bay leaves here. So these whole spices are going to go in our oil, and it's really important that our oil is hot before we add the spices to the oil. So let me get this in a really good angle. So if you could just pop me a Y in the comments to say yes, that you can see the pan nice and clearly, because I don't want to start cooking if you can't see me, or a thumbs up would do me. If you can just pop me a quick thumbs up that yes, you can see the pan. How are we doing, guys? Can we all see the pan? Cool. All right, lovely, brilliant. Thank you very much, Nicola. I appreciate that. And Joy, great. So the pan is got the oil and it's nice and hot. Before we add these whole spices, Christine, yes, I did add cloves. They're in my pestle and mortar, and I just gave them a quick bash down. Okay. So before I add my spices to the oil, it's really important that your onions are already chopped. So I asked for your onions. I said 2 sort of medium onions, and I asked for you to just finely chop them. So really important that you have those already chopped. And you can see it just sort of finely diced, or you can just blitz them in a processor, because we don't want to burn our spices. A lot of my students who come to my classes, they talk about, you know, the fact that they can taste bitterness or they burn their spices, because you need your oil to be hot to cook the spices, but you don't want them to be too hot that they're burning. And what happens is, if our onions are ready, we can just add them to the oil, and that helps to reduce the temperature of the pan. Okay, so have your onions ready, and your oil should be nice and hot, and I can feel the heat on my pan here. It's lovely and hot. If your oil's cold, when you add the spices, nothing happens, and we want that impact of heat, that sort of direct impact to happen immediately. So if we are all ready, Victoria's already set off her smoke alarm. We haven't even started cooking yet. Incredible. Well, you just sort that out and catch up when you're back on. I'm so glad that my smoke alarm hasn't gone off yet. That would be an issue. Spices are going to go in our oil, guys. They should begin to splatter, which they're doing. Pop in your onions immediately. Oh my gosh, the smell. You should be able to smell those whole spices already. And now give the onions a really good mix in the oil. And that you should immediately be able to smell the most incredible flavours from those whole spices. So this is what mine looks like just from the close up. I've still got plenty of oil in there to make sure that I can caramelise those natural sugars in the onions. So are we all there, guys? Are we looking good? Apart from smoke alarms being set off, are we still okay otherwise? Now, I mentioned at the beginning that we really want to caramelise the onions. That's what's going to give our chicken curry that beautiful, rich flavour, alright? Now, a little tip for kind of, whenever you're cooking onions and you want to brown them, a little tip is to add in a little bit of salt into the onions when they're cooking. What adding salt does is it helps to draw out the moisture in the onions and helps them to brown quicker, so it kind of accelerates the cooking process. Martin says they smell amazing. There's something incredibly appetising about frying onions. I think it's just the most, it just makes you feel hungry immediately. It's so delicious. So I popped in maybe about 3/4 teaspoon of salt at this point. Now, we want to get this cooking on a sort of medium heat. I can already begin to see a little bit of colour on there, but not too much. You don't want to just get them on a high heat and then just char them. And also make sure there's enough oil in the pan. So your dish should not be swimming in oil, but it should be, there should be enough oil so the onions are not catching, okay? And if you ever feel that your onions are catching, add a little bit of oil into the pan, or alternatively you could add a little bit of water. Make sure that you always keep an eye on that. So the onions will take a few minutes. Whilst your onions are kind of doing their thing, we're going to talk about our ginger and garlic. So I asked for 3 cloves of garlic, which I've got here, and some ginger. So roughly around a thumb of ginger. Mine's a small thumb of ginger. Okay. So I'm going to talk, but also keep an eye on the onions. Do our onions look good? How are we looking? How's the chicken? Has it been 10 minutes? Yeah? Before we move on to the ginger and garlic, my chicken, I think it's nearly done. So, glamorous assistant's just going to bring the chicken over. Bear with me. Beautiful. Yeah. Can I steal your oven? I'm just going to bring the chicken over from the grill, guys. So, the chicken, and let me just turn my onions up. So the chicken, just to show you, it's got a lovely char all over, and it's just cooked all the way through. So that was 10 minutes in mine. If you don't see that brown colour, you want to probably add, maybe just keep it in there for another couple of minutes. But can we see? That looks good, right? Okay, so keep your chicken to the side if you've pulled it out, okay? I'm going to just keep it on the side for now, and we'll come back to it. Okay, someone said, can you use ground ginger? Yes, but don't add it in when I add it. We're going to add in the ground ginger. You can add ground ginger in when we add the rest of the dry spices. I'll let you know. Okay, so onions are done. We're going to do ginger and garlic now. So I've asked for Amanda, can the glam assistant say hello too? He's ran off upstairs. Typical Debs. He's been working quite hard. He's a key worker and he's been doing incredibly long shifts at the hospital. So I think he's looking pretty horizontal today on his day off. So I just got him to come and be my glam assistant for a few minutes. Rima, you can absolutely use ginger garlic paste, okay? Dina, you've had to take a call. What have you added to the onions? Apart from salt, nothing. Nothing as of yet. I will do, Victoria, thank you. So if you have your ginger and garlic already ready, that's perfect. I'm just going to very quickly grate my fresh garlic. Now with the ginger, I never ever peel ginger, okay? And if anyone's been to my cookery class, I always say this, don't I? I always keep the skin on my ginger. There's bags of fibre, nutrients in the skin, and also it's a pain in the rear end to peel. So what I like to do is just give it a really good wash. You do not need to peel it. Just give it a really good wash, and then you're good to go. So ginger, just little things like that, just save time, okay? So I'm just going to grate this down. Onions are smelling incredible. How does your kitchen smell? Let me know in the comments. How is your kitchen smelling? This is one of my favourite smells. I remember when my dad my brother and I must have been, well, we were fairly young. My dad went, there was a set of, there was probably about a year or two when my dad, that Saturdays were his only day off, and he always used to make this chicken curry, always. And my brother and I, we'd always just kind of like be in the house or playing outside, and as soon as we would smell this, we'd be like, right, okay, Dad's making this chicken curry. It is super fragrant, isn't it, Christine? I've got my ginger and garlic already grated here. So when your onions look like they've got a little bit of brown colour on them and they're nice and soft like mine do, oh my god, so tasty. I'm now going to add in my ginger and garlic. So if you're using the ginger garlic paste, you can pop that in as well. One thing about using ginger garlic paste, of course it's fantastic if you are low on time. I always say, yeah, just go for it. Just be mindful that it is often stored in things like vinegar or oil, and that can affect the taste slightly. So if you can go for fresh, it's best. Rima, have not added chilies as of yet. Jeff, all the years of peeling ginger, you don't need to do it. Exactly. And zero food waste as well. So now we've got the ginger, the garlic and the onions in there, along with our whole spices. In terms of golden colour, we still want to cook these a little bit more. Someone has asked, Karen, cloves are old, so not too aromatic. Can I add more? Yes, you absolutely can do. Of course you can. I'm going to add in just a little bit more oil into this because I can see that it's maybe on the verge of potentially catching, and I do not want that to be the case. So I want to say that I want to cook this for at least another half a minute or so. Hey James, how you doing? Long time no speak. So a little bit more colour on this. A lot of my students sometimes, or even my friends, they'll say, oh, I cooked this chicken dish, this chicken curry, or I cooked this lamb curry and it just didn't taste perfect. And the first question I ask them is, how long did you cook your onions for? And it's often like, well, I just cooked them until they were soft and, translucent, and that's the first thing I say. You need to cook them longer until they are browner. So really caramelise those onions. So I'm going to give it maybe 10 seconds more. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our tomato. Amanda's smoke alarm has gone off. It does smell fit, I agree, Richard. So, a little bit longer. Alright, great. I'm just going to bring my temperature down to the absolute minimum. This is what I want you to do in terms of the colour that I want your onions to be. So it's really, really beautiful and golden. So it's completely cooked out. There's no element of rawness in the onions. That, my friends, is beautifully golden, caramelised onions. That's what we're looking for. Now is the stage that we add the tomato. Because I'm kind of talking and I'm jibber-jabbering, I'm actually turning my pan off because I don't want these onions to overcook. But if I was just cooking, at home on my own, I wouldn't turn the pan off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk to you about the tomato. So on your ingredients list, Steve, if you're using red onions, you basically just want to make sure that the same amount of time, so they probably are done now. So your onions should basically look completely soft. I think the amount of time that we've given them should be absolutely perfect. So yeah, you should be done now. What I want you to ask now, what I am asking you to do now is to spread out the onions in the pan. And we're going to go in with our tomato. So if you're using passata or if you're using plum tomato, you want to get that ready. I'm using passata because all the hard work is already done for you. Chilies haven't gone in yet, Dina. They will go in, I promise. All the hard work's done for you. The consistency of passata is amazing. Sarah, hello from Worcester. Nice to see you. So what we're going to do is, the way that I judge how much tomato I want to add to my dish is by basically adding enough to cover what's in the pan. Now, this is often a stage I see with a lot of my students. They really kind of go to town with adding tomato. This is a stage that I often see people over here in the West. They start chucking in a tin of tomatoes. You know, a tin of tomatoes in a curry, you can make a curry for about 12 to 15 people with a whole tin of tomatoes. Yes, the ginger and garlic has gone in, and we just cooked it out until everything was golden. So I've probably put in, I don't even know, I wasn't even counting, but enough to cover what's in the pan. Can you see? Just to cover what's, the onions, the ginger, the garlic, it's just completely covered with the passata. I'm also going to add in half a teaspoon of tomato puree just for a little bit of intensity. But you do not need to start chucking in tins of tomato when you're making curries. Your curry ends up tasting of just tomatoes, basically, and it doesn't taste that very rich. So yeah, just be mindful on how much tomato you put in a curry. The two things, getting your onions nice and golden and not adding too much tomato is a great way of making sure you're going to have a delicious masala. If you're using chopped tomatoes, you want to just mash those down as well, or maybe you could blitz them before you add them in, okay? And now give everything a beautiful mix. You should be able to see this masala looking pretty glorious and smelling incredible. Can you give me a hello or a yes or a thumbs up just to let me know that you are at this stage, and then I'm not going too quickly for you. Your masala, guys, is very nearly there. Brilliant, thank you very much. Yeah, Nazleen, va, it does smell and look very, very good. Wonderful. Okay, so now is the time. You can kind of begin to see that this is looking like, you know, a paste, if you will. Now we're going to go in with our spices and we're going to make this taste incredible, all right? So whenever I add spices to the masala, I always make sure my pan is either off or it's at a low temperature, okay? So I've got my spice box ready, and to this sauce, Helen, I've actually turned the pan off, but just make sure it's at a low temperature if you don't want to turn it off. Mum has approved and said that my masala's looking good. Thanks, Mum. So browns it, Steve, you've said that yours is drier than yours. That's fine. It can be a little bit saucier, that's not a problem. We are eventually going to add some water to this as well to make it saucier, so don't worry about that, okay? Every passata has its own sort of, every brand is sort of different in consistency, so worry not. Okay, so let's talk about our spices, guys, all right? So we're going to add in a little bit of garam masala, okay? So that's this one over here. I'm just going to add in a level teaspoon of garam masala, so that's going to go in. So grab your garam masala and pop that in. Then I'm going to add in some paprika. So paprika adds gorgeous warmth, and also adds a really nice colour, obviously. So we're going to add in about a good teaspoon. I've kind of gone for a heaped spoon there, and I'm going to go a little bit more. And this is just plain paprika. It's not smoked, it's not sweet, it's just your plain paprika, okay? Jeff came to one of the class with your son 4 years ago. Amazing. Did you come to Manchester or did you come to our Birmingham class? It must have been Manchester, I think. Our Birmingham school hadn't opened then. Answered my own question. Lovely to see you. All right, next thing we're going to go in with coriander powder. Now my coriander powder might look a little bit coarser than yours, and that's because I actually make my own coriander powder by grinding down the whole coriander seeds. It's a lot more fragrant that way. Rachel, I added in a teaspoon of garam masala, just so you know. So we've done a teaspoon of garam masala, we've done a good teaspoon of paprika, and now I'm going to go in with my coriander powder. I'm going to do about 1.5 teaspoons of coriander powder. And I'm now going to put my heat back on and give this a really good mix. Oops. So just give this a really good mix. We do not want to burn our spices, so that's why I've got this on a very low heat. And if you like your food spicy, you can at this point either add in chili powder or alternatively, and what I'm going to do is use fresh green chili. Now, if you like your food really spicy, you can add in Leslie, we added in a good teaspoon of paprika. Martin, coriander leaves, I'm going to add that in just a second, but yes, you can use fresh coriander. But the flavour that you get from coriander powder is quite different, okay? So I always say use both, okay? Louise, hello, good to see you. So I've got a finger chilli here. So finger chillis are quite hot, they're quite spicy. How hot do you like your food, guys? Do we like it spicy? Do we like it more mild? Punjabi food, generally speaking, is not blow your mouth off hot. It's super, super flavourful. Craig's asked, can you add turmeric? Yeah, absolutely, you can add turmeric. For this dish, I probably add no more than 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. This Punjabi Murgh Masala is more on the red shade, and that's why I've omitted the turmeric, but you absolutely can do. Jackie likes it hot and spicy. Martin, quite hot. Nizleen likes it hot, hot, hot. Okay, Beverly's gone for medium. If you are adding chilli, what I like to do, and I hope you can see my chopping board here, is to sort of I've halved it and I've slit the chillies down the middle. And now, once I've slit them into long, thin pieces, I'm now just going to very finely chop. It just means that I don't have big chunks of chilli getting in my masala, so you know, if you bite into the sauce, it's just too much. Claire's gone for medium. Yeah, okay, so maybe you want to go for half a chilli as opposed to a whole chilli. Hi Praz, good to see you. Vince likes it really hot, so maybe you want to add a couple of chillies. One thing that I would say is a lot of chefs, or a lot of people, not just chefs, they like to de-seed their chilies. I don't understand why, to be honest with you. There's bags of flavour in the seed and also in that lovely spongy membrane. So I would just say, instead of de-seeding the chilli, just use 1/4 of it or add half of it. Yeah, good idea, Kate. You can add chilli later as well if you want to give it to the kids. Yeah, you can use red chilli powder or red chillies. Jeff's asked, can you add fenugreek? I only have one green. Can I use a red chilli? Absolutely, you can use a red chilli. Fenugreek, are you talking fresh fenugreek, dried fenugreek, or fenugreek seeds? You've gone for 1 chilli, Charlotte. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you do not need to de-seed. Again, 0 food waste. Pain in the bum to de-seed. Don't bother. So I'm adding in my chilli. I'm also going to add in a little bit of fresh coriander, guys. So whenever I'm chopping fresh coriander, and I've said this on the last couple of recipes, I always like to use the stem as well as the leaf. So I've just folded that over, and I'm going to give this a very sort of rough chop, because I like to cook the coriander. It adds bags of flavour when you cook it off, as well as garnishing. So just very roughly chop your coriander, pop that in your masala along with your green chilli, and let's give this a mix. So this, guys, is your masala. You know that this masala is cooked and ready. We've put the chilli in, Diana. Yeah, you can put fresh or powder in. How do I know that this masala is done? Well, you should begin to see a little bit of the oil sizzle out of the edges of the masala. That's an indication to you. Can you see the oil just bubbling around the edges of the masala? That's an indication to you that all the spices have cooked out and your spices are done and your masala's ready. I am just going to give this a quick taste. I'm aware that I didn't add any more salt, so I might need to add a bit more salt. I'm going to add in a little pinch of salt. If you do not like your food, you know, on the salty side, you can just leave it as it is. That masala tastes amazing. So guys, your masala is ready. You can now, at this stage, if you want to, you can pop this in a jar. The temperature of the cooker is on a very low temperature. The fenugreek's not going to go until right at the end. Richard, right at the end. Sarah, fenugreek going in right at the end. Not yet. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten, but thank you for reminding me. If you make this in bulk, you want to keep this masala in a jar, cool it down, put the masala in a jar, and then just top it with a tiny little bit of oil. You can have that masala and keep it in the fridge for about 3-4 weeks, okay? Yeah, David, Matthews, absolutely. You can freeze this masala as well. So, you know, instead of reaching for that shop-bought jar of curry paste, which has got preservatives in, flavourings in, colourings in, you've got your own amazing masala. Bernadette, yeah, we added some fresh coriander to the masala when we added the chilli in. It does look fab, doesn't it, Vince? So, yeah, just be mindful that, yeah, we're adding chicken in, but actually you can add in lamb, you could add in potatoes. This is the time that we're going to add our cooked chicken in, and if you're making paneer today, you're going to add in your paneer as well. So let me go grab my chicken. Guys, if you could pop in a thumbs up or a Y to let me know that, yes, this is what your masala looks like as well. Do just let me know so I know that we're all on the same page here. I'm going to go fetch my chicken, and you can do the same as well. And like I say, I mean, taste the masala as it is. Thank you very much for letting me know. When my brother and I used to wait for my dad to make his chicken curry, we'd be so hungry at this stage that we would actually go and just get like a piece of bread or a chapati from the day before, and we would get a little bit of the masala and spread it all over the chapati, roll it up and just eat it as like a masala chapati wrap, and it's delicious. Just the masala on, or even toast, oh my gosh, it's amazing. So yeah, we would always, you know, just devour the masala before the chicken even went in. So yeah, just know that you want to taste it, check it. It actually does taste good. No, AJ, that was you as well. It wasn't just me. Okay, so we're going to add the chicken to the sauce. Now, this is looking quite dry. Don't worry, I'm going to add water to this. So we are going to create a saucy curry. It is, Louise, it is, don't worry. Now, you might have seen some water that's been released in your chicken, some juices. You want to add all of those juices in as well. It's basically the yogurt that just splits ever so slightly when it's in the grill. So make sure that you get all those juices in. In fact, I'm going to deglaze this tray with a little bit of water because I want to get all that gorgeous flavour out. I do not want to waste it. We've worked so hard, and I'm going to get my pan onto a high heat now, okay? So we're going to pop that on a high heat, and we're going to give this a mix, and I might need to add a bit more water, I'm going to see, maybe not. And we will just begin to see this amazing chicken curry come together. How are we looking on your end, guys? This smells absolutely incredible. Yeah, this smells really good. So we're going to now allow the chicken to absorb the flavour of the masala. I'm going to add a tiny bit more water because it will dry up a little bit as it begins to bubble away. So you might just need to be mindful of how much water you're popping in. Yeah, I hear you, Louise. I'm not surprised. So enough water to kind of make sure that you've got this lovely thick masala. If you like your curries even runnier, if you're having it with rice, you can have it even saucier than this. But I'm going to just, this is enough water, I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to give it a very quick taste and see if it needs anything in terms of seasoning. No, that's perfect, it doesn't need anything else. If you tasted it and you wanted to add more salt, or you want to add a bit more chilli because it wasn't hot enough, you absolutely can do. How much water? So essentially, what I've done is, you want enough water so it's creates a nice sort of curry, if you will. So it's not quite level, it's just about 3/4 of the level in terms of where the chicken is in the pan. Rob, yes, if you are adding paneer in, when I added the chicken in, you're going to pop the paneer in, and yeah, high heat for the paneer, and you also want to add some water in as well. And you can pop your peas in there as well. So you want enough water so it's looking saucy, but not too thin. So you might want to vary that depending on what your personal preference is. This is the time that I'm going to add, I'm going to get some more fresh coriander ready for the garnish. And I'm also going to add in my fenugreek. So a little handful of my coriander's all tangled up here. Bear with me, bear with me. There we go. So I'm going to add a little more fresh coriander in a second. And now can you see that my chicken is just bubbling away here? This is the time that I'm going to just reduce the heat slightly and pop the lid on. I'm going to get that on a low heat because I want the chicken to really absorb the flavour of the masala. So just give it roughly a few minutes with the lid on, let it do its thing, let that chicken really absorb the flavour of the masala. In the meantime, chop up some fresh coriander if you have any. If not, don't worry about it, just leave it out. I have begun to see that a lot of shops are a lot more better stocked these days. How are you with Indian supplies where you are, guys? Are you managing to get things like ginger and garlic and chilli and coriander in your supermarkets? Here in Brum, we're quite lucky. We do have good access to not only good stocked, well-stocked supermarkets, but Asian supermarkets. We have a lot of Asian supermarkets here. Yeah, let me know. I'm quite interested to know how you guys are getting on with sourcing these kind of things. So, my pan's just gone off. There we go, sorry. The coriander is all chopped up here. Now, if you've managed to source your fenugreek, this is what dried fenugreek leaves look like. The other name for this is kasuri methi, and you tend to see this in all Asian supermarkets. I've also started to see this in the world section of a lot of normal supermarkets as well. Martin, you go to Manchester? Yeah, sure. Graham, you nip to Bradford? Oh, lucky you, that's brilliant. Smethwick, yeah, Charlotte, it's amazing. We're in the West Midlands, we're so lucky. Yeah, I go to Soho Road, Stratford Road. So Jeffrey, the cloves and the cardamom actually went in at the beginning into the hot oil, so just omit it, just leave it out now. Rob has said that he keeps his ginger in the freezer and grate it from frozen. Great hack, yeah, I've done that before as well. One of the things that I also do, Rob, is I often will grate my ginger and pop it in a freezer bag, flatten it, and then I just snap shards of it off whenever I need it. Yeah, Jackie Warrington, yeah, you mentioned that before. Okay, let's talk about our fenugreek. Whenever you have kasuri methi, this dried fenugreek leaves, you don't just chuck it into the pan straight away. You make sure that you use your fingertips to grind it into a powder. So if I can sort of show you what I'm doing, I'm using my fingers to really kind of make it into a nice powder. So someone has mentioned your fenugreek is a yellow powder. So that's very different. You're going to leave it out. That's not what we want. We need the fenugreek leaves that have been dried. So just omit that. That's very different. That's the fenugreek seeds that have been ground down into a yellow powder. These are the fenugreek leaves that have been that have been dried out. Okay. So yeah, Dean, if you want to use fresh fenugreek, go ahead. You need to saute it in the masala for a few minutes and cook it out so it's not raw. All right, so this is the last ingredient that's going to go in. So I'm going to pop in, I want to say roughly around 3 good generous pinches of fenugreek. Yeah, online shops, James, that's a good shout actually. Gram flour, really difficult to get. Gram flour is a fantastic thing to have in your pantry as well because you can make breads from it, you can make pakoras from it, you can make pancakes from it. It's a really good thing to do. Susan, no, if you've got seeds, omit that, that's not going to work. You would want to put the seeds in the oil at the beginning. So things, just a little note guys about spices. When you've got things like seeds, cumin seeds, coriander seeds, things like cloves, cardamoms, all of these, we call them whole spices. And they, in a curry, they tend to go in right at the beginning in the oil. You wouldn't add in seeds at this stage. You need to make sure that you fry them in oil, okay? So yeah, Susan, just miss out the seeds unless you've got the dried fenugreek, and don't worry about it if you don't have it, just leave it. I'm also going to pop on the fresh coriander. And this chicken curry is pretty much now done. I'm just going to give it one quick mix. And this is looking beautiful, so you can see how saucy, and also it also looks quite glossy. That's beautiful. So it's not swimming in oil, but it's looking really beautiful and everything's cooked through. So this is your Murgh masala all done. Dina's about to put some naan under the grill. Amazing. Christine, what did I say about the flour? So I was talking about, in terms of freezing, I was talking about ginger, freezing the ginger, just grating it, putting it in a sandwich bag, and then freezing it so you can just snap off shards of it. So guys, let me know in the comments, are you where I am? I'm going to start dishing this up in 2 seconds, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to serve it with. So I made some rice just before the class. Yeah, Diane, pakoras are amazing. So I've got the rice ready. What is one thing that I also like to do when I'm making anything in terms of a rich Indian dish, so something like a chicken curry, a lamb curry, and especially when the weather is amazing like it is today, I like to make something called a kachumber. Now I haven't mentioned this, I just literally thought I'd just chuck this in about 5 minutes before pressing live, but I'm just going to show you whilst I'm here because I want to pop it on the plate when I'm serving up. This is a really fresh salad. I make this about 3 times a week. So for me, what I want to do now, just to show you, a super simple 1 minute salad, which kind of cuts through the heat of this amazing chicken Murgh masala. I've got in chopped tomatoes, cucumber, red onion, and some ripped up fresh mint. So that's going to go in a bowl. Oh, can you see that? I don't think you can see that very well. Let me just bring this down. Susan, you've tasted it. It tastes amazing. So glad to hear that. Are you guys going to be eating this for dinner tonight? Are you going to have it for... are you going to have it now? Let me know what you're going to do with it. So that's all in there. I'm going to put in a good squeeze of fresh lime, as well as a little pinch of sugar and a tiny little bit of salt as well. I'm going to give this a quick old mix. So Val, I have got all the ingredients and all this recipe video, it will be recorded. So when I end this live, you'll be able to view the video so you can watch it back in your own time, so do not worry. Michael, you are having it tomorrow night. This chicken curry is going to taste even better tomorrow. The flavours just mature. And I'm so pleased you enjoyed it. So my kachumber is now done. I'm going to pop this on my plate here, just on the side. I've got some rice. Kachumber's done. And let me just dish up this chicken whilst I have it here. Yes, nice, Vince. And you're going to enjoy it even more tomorrow, I promise you. So I'm going to try and avoid dishing up the whole spices, so the things like the bay leaves and also the cardamom, the cloves. I'm not going to put them in. Oh wow, this looks incredible. It smells so good. If you want as well, you can add in cooked potatoes. They work really well to absorb the flavour of the masala. Yeah, Jeffrey, so I would actually just very quickly pan fry your fish, if you've got it in fillets. Cut it into small pieces and pan fry, and that's what I would do if I was you, and then add it to the masala. This masala, you can add paneer in, potatoes, cauliflower, so much. And now I'm going to finish this with a little bit of fresh coriander. So here we have my Murgh masala, basmati steamed rice, and a lovely fresh kachumber. Now it's time to dig in. I know this is the time that my glamorous assistant's going to just conveniently come down at this time and be like, oh, are you done? Oh, the food's ready. And yeah, he's very good at that. Timing for him he's always spot on with stuff like that. So here we go, a lovely, delicious Murgh masala. Or if you've done a paneer version, it's your paneer masala. I hope you've enjoyed today's isolation lesson. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you all here. If you have any questions at all and I've not been able to answer them during the class, please let me know. I will be posting up a link in just maybe within the next half an hour And I will also be writing this recipe up, and it will go onto my blog, spicediary.com. Please don't feel like you've just come to this class and that's the end of it. I want you to stay in contact with me. You can log on to my Facebook page. I'm on Instagram. So yeah, please feel free to DM me with your curry SOS questions. And so yeah, thank you so much for joining. I will be doing another class next Friday at 4 p.m. If you would like to join, or if you have any requests on a dish that you know what, you've wanted to nail, but it just hasn't happened yet, maybe I can help you. Pop a little message on my Facebook page and maybe we can make it next week. A couple of people have said that they wanted a dal, some chickpea curry, so yeah, I've noted all of those things. Maybe I'll cook those next week, let me know. Otherwise, I'd love to see photos of your recreations of this. So please take a photo and send it to me. I'd love, love, love to see. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful Easter. I have popped a link to our website if you're interested in learning Indian food. We will be posting new class dates as soon as we can. Once this is all over, this mess of COVID is all over, we will be adding new dates for Manchester and Birmingham. So have a look on the website. Do subscribe to the mailing list so you can be updated. And I've also popped a link for our online tip jar if you would like to help fund future Isolation Spice Club lessons. No pressure, but if you would like to, there's a little link there as well. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much. Really nice to welcome back some familiar faces and old students, but also nice to say hello to some new ones. Have a fantastic Easter weekend, and I will see you all next Friday. All right, lots of love. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.